Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call this public hearing to order. First on the agenda here is Adam and Arlene Ogdendahl. Bob, will you read the order? Notice of public hearing?
Please state notice an application is made by Adam and Arlene Ogdendahl, 11244 County 10, in Section 5, Caledonia Township, for an interim use permit for non-commercial family cabin in an ag district. Said applicant standing making application are the fee owners of said described land. Hearing on this application will be held at the Historic Courthouse Commissioners Room, City of Caledonia, Minnesota, 55921 at 7 p.m. Thursday, May 22nd. All persons having an interest in the matter will be given the opportunity to be heard relative to granting or denying of said application. Houston County Planning Commission by Bob Scala, advertised May 7, 2014.
Okay, is Adam and Arlene here? Dave. Okay. Dave, you're talking for Adam, right?
Yeah,
Adam and
yes.
Arlene?
Can you come up front?
Well, I guess Mr. Scanlon knows pretty much what we're talking about. I stopped in and talked to Holly yesterday, and they wanted to, actually was gonna start with a two-story lodge on the end of this garage. Now he just wants one story, so it's only gonna be 900 square feet. We had the survey done. I'm sure Bob's got a printout from Thorson. He was the guy that did the survey. I think we have to add is 11 inches to get above.
Right, to raise it up
Yeah.
about the 100-year flood.
So actually we'll be, he wants to raise it up 2 feet anyway, because he's in a kind of a flat spot there and he'd like to have a kind of an upgrade on it, so. I guess that's kind of where we're at, you know, and I guess I done everything I can do. I guess it's up to you guys now, you know.
Okay, are there any questions to the board members on what the plan is here?
Just looking at this figure, the elevation or something is 13 inches, am I misreading this one?
It's 11 inches right now, right?
He's got actually a black circle on a concrete slab down there with our benchmark, and we have to be 11 inches above that. And Bob said, after we get it staked out, if he wants to come look at it, he can. But we're gonna add like 2 feet to the finished floor height, because he says they would like, Bob says they'd like to have it at least a foot above.
Right, you gotta have a foot above the
Yeah,
base.
so if we add, well, we'll be over a foot above it, we'd be actually 13 inches above it.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
Any other questions from members of the board, commission?
Are we getting past the cabin being 400 square feet?
This is under, this
This
is
isn't
an
cabin.
interim,
This isn't a cabin.
this is under non-commercial family cabin.
This is a little different, yeah. There's no size limit on these, or density, but there is an interim use requirement for them. And so the ordinance standards pretty much regulate it so that you can't lease it out or rent it, that type of thing. It's just for family and friends. The Ogdendahl's plan to use it just during hunting seasons. They've got a bay, so I understand, in the building here where they're going to process the deer and things like that. In addition, I think there's a kind of garage too. And
It is actually, they got a processing room for deer hunting, because my sons and my brother's sons, they like to hunt, and the family farm is gonna be sold this fall, and that's where we hunt all the time, so this is kind of something that he's gonna build, so we got a place to go.
So it's strictly for the family, David, it's
Yeah.
not to be rented out or anything?
No,
That's
no,
yeah,
it's
that's
just a
restricted
family.
under this
Yeah.
permit.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, is there anyone, comments from anyone in the audience on this particular application? Okay, are there any other questions from the board members? Okay, if there's no further comments or questions, we'll read the findings.
Planning Commission should not recommend an interim use permit unless they find the following. One, does the proposed use conform to the county land use plan? 2, does the applicant demonstrate a need for the proposed use? 3, will the proposed use degrade the water quality of the county? 4, will the proposed use adversely increase the quantity of water runoff? 5, are soil conditions adequate to accommodate the proposed use? 6, does the proposed use create a potential pollution hazard? 7, are adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities being provided? 8, are adequate measures being taken to provide sufficient off-street parking and loading space to serve the proposed use? 9, are facilities being provided to eliminating traffic congestion or traffic hazard which may result from the proposed use? 10, will the interim use be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for purposes already permitted? 11, does the establishment of the interim use impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for predominant uses in the area? 12, are adequate measures being taken to prevent and control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, vibrations so that none of these will constitute a nuisance? Control lighted signs and other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. 13, density of the proposed residential development greater than the density of the surrounding neighborhood or greater than the density indicated by the applicable zoning district. 14 is not applicable. 15, are site-specific conditions and other such conditions established as required for the protection of the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare?
Okay, does anyone have any questions on the criteria? Comments? Any further discussion? Any questions? If not, I'd ask for a motion, one way or the other.
I move we recommend to the county board to approve this, it's not a conditional use, it's
Interim.
interim use.
Is there a second?
No, second that motion.
Okay, we've had a motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve this, or recommend that it be approved? Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
All right, that'll go to the county board for final approval on June 3rd.
Okay. Tuesday, you said?
Yep, it's Tuesday the 3rd.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, David. Happy hunting. All right, we'll go over the minutes at this point from last meeting. Did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes? Any questions or comments on the minutes from last meeting?
No, I think the minutes are well written, so I move that we approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
A motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes from the last meeting. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we have a few minutes now before our next public hearing with the Getzingers. So we're going to have to wait a few minutes here, wait till 7:15. Yes, Commission will go over the zoning permits. Okay, we'll take a look at the zoning permits. You guys just look at them, check them over. If you got any questions? Any questions or comments on the zoning permits? Anyone? Not, I'll ask for a motion, one way to recommend.
I'll make a motion to approve the zoning permits.
Terry, seconded.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made, seconded to approve the zoning permits. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You guys pass over these interim yellow sheets. Okay, are the Getzingers here? Okay, are you okay to go ahead? It's 7:14, 7:13 or 14, you ready to go ahead? All right, Bob, will you read the notice, the next public?
Sure. Take notice, an application is made by Josh and David Getzinger for a conditional use permit to build a dwelling on less than 40 acres in the ag district. Said applicant standing to make an application is the fee owner said described land. Hearing on this application will be held at the Historic Courthouse Commissioners Room, City of Caledonia, Minnesota, 7:15 on Thursday, May 22nd. All persons having interest in the matter will be given the opportunity to be heard relative to the granting or denying of said application. Houston County Planning Commission by Bob Scanlon, advertised May 7, 2014.
Okay, Joshua, do you want to come forward? Yep.
Yep. Just a little background here, they own a 20-acre parcel right on Jefferson Road. Consists of a little building site. They plan to build a house right pretty close to the building site there. There is a septic design that was completed along with the erosion plan. And looks like it meets the requirements for a non-farm dwelling.
You have any comments, Joshua?
No.
Any questions from the board members? Is there anyone here tonight that wants to comment on this application?
Well, on the map here, it says phase 1, phase 2, what's that?
Phase 1 is, what we're gonna do to start is put up a pole shed with just a section of it as living quarters for a few years and then put the house up down the road.
Do you have a well dug and sewer in and all that?
No, nothing's done yet. I got all the septic design. There's a well there that has to get tested yet. And so we haven't done anything yet.
So you're gonna hook all that up to the, temporarily up to the,
So when they put the septic in, they're gonna phase it for the size of the house I already have. So it doesn't get disturbed twice, it'll be in big enough to do the house down the road.
but you'll be living in the pole, in the,
Until build the house down the road, yep.
okay.
How's that gonna work?
Well, the understanding is that when they move in the new house,
Got
you
it.
gotta take the living quarters out of the shed, and then change the use from the house to a shed. We would, stipulate that right on the zoning permit.
Are we gonna give them a timeline, or put some kind of timeline on building the permanent dwelling, or?
I don't think so, because we're looking at the original building as a dwelling.
Okay.
It's a dwelling.
Okay, all right,
So,
that's good enough.
So the drain field and sewer that you set up initially is going to be the same,
It'll be sized
sized
big enough
for your
for the house.
Okay.
So when we do, we can tie the house right into that without redoing it all again
okay?
down the road. They're just gonna tie the one bathroom from the shop into it for now, and then when it'll be sized for the bathrooms in the house to go into it.
yeah, they got a design here for 4-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
I think this is a good thing, but I'm going to excuse myself from voting on this because David is my wife's niece. So,
Okay, I asked once, but once again, is there anyone in the crowd who wants to comment on this, or? Okay, all right. Well, if there are no more questions, we'll read the findings.
Planning Commission shall now recommend conditional use permit as defined in the following. 1, the proposed use conforming to the county land use plan. 2, does the applicant demonstrate a need for the proposed use? 3, will the proposed use degrade the water quality of the county? 4, will the proposed use adversely increase the quantity of water runoff? 5, are soil conditions adequate to accommodate the proposed use? 6, does the proposed use create a potential pollution hazard? 7, are adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities being provided? 8, are adequate measures being taken to provide sufficient off-street parking and loading space to serve the proposed use? 9, are facilities being provided to eliminate any traffic congestion or traffic hazard which may result from the proposed use? 10, will conduce the use be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in immediate vicinity for purposes already permitted? 11, does the establishment of conditional use impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for predominant uses in the area? 12, are adequate measures being taken to prevent and control offensive odors, fumes, dust, noise, vibration, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance and to control lighted signs and other lights in such a manner that no disturbance of neighboring properties will result? 13, is the density of the proposed residential development greater than the density of the surrounding neighborhood, greater than the density indicated by the applicable zoning district? 14 is not applicable. 15 are site-specific conditions and such other conditions established as required for the protection of the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare.
Okay, does anyone have any comments on the findings and criteria? If not, I'd ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion, we recommend approval of the conditional use.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve this application. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay.
That'll go to the county board then for final to June 3rd.
Okay,
All right, thanks, Josh.
thank you.
Okay, our next public hearing is at 7:30. We have 10 minutes here.
What was it?
You got the wave right in the board, don't you?
This year, they come with the steps. That horse, they got tired up. As soon as that rope was tight, the horse is going. And as soon as they dump, the last Saturday was and he was just bang, that thing released, come back, right to the same spot.
Okay, well, I see it's close to 7:30. Myers, are you here, Darren? Yep, okay. We'll start our next public hearing. Bob, you want to read the...
Yep. Please take notice an application was made by Darren Meyer to Sue Holsteins of New Albany, Iowa for a conditional use permit to expand the feedlot to 550 animal units and add 2 manure storage basins. Said application is in section 4 of Wilmington Township. Applicants standing and making applications and fee owners said described lands. Hearing on this application will be held at the Historic Courthouse, Commissioners Room, City of Caledonia, Minnesota at 5591 at 7:30, Thursday, May 22nd. All persons having an interest in the matter will be given the opportunity to be heard relative to granting or denying the said application. Houston County Planning Commissioner Bob Scanlon, advertised May 7, 2014. Just a little background. Myers bought Fred and Barb Arnold Dairy Farm just west of Caledonia here. They plan to expand from 495 animal units that Arnold's had up to 550, so an increase of roughly 55 animal units. They're planning 2 new freestall barns, 2 liquid manure basins. The big change there is Arnold's did milk cows, but they also raised cattle, feeder cattle and bats on the site too. Those will no longer be there. It'll be strictly a dairy farm under the Meyer ownership. Nick Rowe is a registered engineer, did the soil borings and prepared the design for the manure basins. And we notified the Wilmington Township Board and adjoining property owners and didn't hear any concerns regarding to that.
Okay, Darren, do you have any comments? Darren, come on up. You go up there and take a look. You can stop right there, Darren, and sit at the table there. Yeah. Do you have any comments, any further thing to add to what Bob said?
No, I guess that being said, say it's kind of, like Bob said, it's an extension of what was there. To add what Bob said, it's not just feeder cattle. All the young stock for the dairy herd replacements and stuff are going to be raised up in our farm, up there between Maple and Spring Groves. I mean, all the Holstein young stock will be gone too. So it's basically an extension of what was there and add a little bit. And manure basins and stuff that I'm putting in are going to be all concrete, it'll be 100% containment. I think combined storage area will have enough for like 14 months or something, so that shouldn't be a concern at all.
You have a manure plan?
I sure do. Do you want it now or?
Sure, yeah, but, yep.
Okay, any other comments, Darren? Do you guys have to...
Any questions, I can answer them.
Okay, any questions of the commission members?
Do you have enough land around there to
Yeah, that's what,
take care of your manure? Or?
what we bought, and when I got a 4-year lease on from Fred, what he retained was 530 acres, and then I got my own farm right down the road, it's like 2 miles down the road, that's another 100 acres, it's 630 acres.
You knife that in or irrigate it? Or?
The liquid part we do, the solids, we don't.
Okay.
Is that part of your manure plan then?
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other questions to the board members? Is there anyone in the audience has any comments or questions for Mr. Meyer? Okay, is there any other questions from the commission members?
I guess, it's not a question, but I just, it's kind of for information. Your manure basins are being designed by an engineer and has to be approved by a licensed engineer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, and it's inspected also.
Yes.
They got to sign off it after it's built.
Yep. It's gonna be on site during construction and the whole ball of wax.
Okay, if there's no further questions, comments? Okay, so we're going to read the findings in there. Thank you.
Planning Commission shall now recommend conditional use permit unless they find the following. 1, is the proposed use conform to county land use plan. 2, does the applicant demonstrate a need for the proposed use? 3, will the proposed use degrade the water quality of the county? 4, will the proposed use adversely increase the quantity of water runoff? 5, are soil conditions adequate to accommodate the proposed use? 6, is the proposed use create a potential pollution hazard? 7, are adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities being provided. 8, are adequate measures being taken to provide sufficient off-street parking and loading space to serve the proposed use. 9, are facilities being provided to eliminate any traffic congestion or traffic hazard which may result from the proposed use. 10, will the conditional use be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in immediate vicinity for purposes already permitted? 11, does the establishment of conditional use impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for predominant uses in the area? 12, are adequate measures being taken to prevent and control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, and vibrations so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and control lighted signs and other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result? 13 is not applicable, 14 is not applicable. 15 are site-specific conditions and other such conditions established as required for the protection of the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare.
Okay, does anyone have any questions on the criteria, the findings, or comments? Okay, if not, I'd ask for a motion, one way or another.
I'll make a motion to recommend that conditional use permit be granted.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to recommend this application for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Darren, that'll go with the county board then, June 3rd for final approval. So we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Okay, we have 7 minutes before our next public hearing.
Sure.
Communication tower and turkey vultures. See, they got that done. That's the roost. There's been, one night I counted, I've been 3 dozen roosters. They all sit out on that communication tower by the well. Yeah, they fly around. Wife thought someone was dead. Heck, they all hang on that tower. I thought that was pretty strange. I was gonna get me a 17 millimeter Magnum with a big scope on there, see if I can fill their cups in.
So they don't weigh much.
Yeah, I mean, they're fairly large. Yeah, I bet there was circling down, give us some mail, and start landing. That's what they were.
That's why you got something dead for 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, I thought someone was sitting up there. Roosting on that thing. I suppose it's a good vantage point.
That's right. Oh. I remember when I
That's right.
They're fine. They wouldn't do that, so the next day is too old.
Okay, it's 7:45, we'll start our next public hearing. Bob, read the votes.
New state notice and application has been made by Guy Stewart, AT&T representative, for Stevens Point, and Bill Becker, Caledonia, Minnesota, for a conditional use permit to construct a telecommunications tower in the Ag District.
Say,
On the following premises. Section 12, Caledonia Township. Said applicant standing making application as the fee owner of said described land and leaser of the land. Hearing on this application will be held at the Historic Courthouse Commission Room, City, Caledonia, Minnesota, 55921 at 7:45 on Thursday, May 22nd. All persons having interest in the matter will be given the opportunity to be heard relative to the granting or denying of said application. Houston County Planning Commissioner Bob Scanlon, advertised May 7th, 2014. The site here, if you're not familiar with it, is just northwest of Caledonia on a building site formerly owned by Harley Gearing, now owned by Village, John Becker. What they're proposing is a 205-foot standalone tower. There's going to be equipment shelter located inside a described area that has been surveyed. They also are proposing a temporary tower right just adjacent to the described area, and that is only going to remain on the site until the federal permits might be approved for this permanent tower. The Caledonia Town Board and all adjoining property owners were notified. There were no concerns expressed to the zoning office in regard to the application, except there was one call in favor of the project.
Okay, Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Could you?
I'm assuming you folks have a copy of the drawings that I provided?
Yes.
Okay. Like was said, my name is Guy Stewart. I'm here representing AT&T and SBA, which would be the tower company that would actually own the tower. We've met with the Beckers, and they've agreed to host the tower on their property. They've taken a couple silos down since they've owned it, but the tower is going to be pretty much, as you see in the drawings, tucked in behind one of the existing silos that's on the property now. Like was indicated prior to the actual construction of the tower, we are proposing to put up a temporary tower just to get AT&T on the air and basically doing some coverage in the area. The tower is designed to cover the township of Caledonia and the city. I did meet with the township several weeks back and answered their questions and got favorable response from them. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions from board members?
How temporary, what kind of timeline are you looking at from temporary to?
We would anticipate 6 months or less. It would probably be less because it's, I think the schedule, providing everything, all the permits get approved, I think the schedule would probably be around the August time period. So that period from roughly now until that August time period, maybe another month extending. It just depends on the weather and construction schedules, things like that.
How big a footprint is that? How much land are you talking?
The lease area is 100 by 100, but the actual base of the tower is probably going to be a three-legged tower, and the base is 16 feet by 16 feet in a triangle. Within the compound, we'll have up to 4 shelters within the compound to be able to provide other carriers to use that same tower, so it's not just going to be an AT&T tower, it'll be potentially other, whoever else needs service in the area.
That whole 100 by 100 area is fenced off,
Yeah.
high fence?
Correct.
Any other questions from the board members? Is there anyone in the audience wish to speak to this permit? Yes, sir. You can wait right there. You might have more questions.
That's fine.
Come on, come forward and state your name.
this a good place to stand?
That's fine. Yeah, stand or sit, either one right
The
there.
name is Gary Lawden. I live in the area where the tower will be placed. I'm all for progress, and I think this is a great thing. I was just wondering why exactly the location. I know originally it was supposed to be in the Sprague Woods, and that was denied. And I was wondering if there were any other area, not that it has to be accomplished that way, but if there was an area, like say, where the fairgrounds were, more away from this community that we are in, and my neighbors are in. 200-foot tower, I don't know exactly how tall that's going to be. It seems like it's going to be a fairly good sized tower. I also wondered about how it will affect my present services with Verizon, if there's going to be an issue with how my telephone is going to operate. And I guess maybe that would be not a major concern, but a minor one. So I'm kind of curious to know, how this was all decided before we were told anything about it, people in the neighborhood. It seems, I don't know if this is typical politics as usual or not, or what. Anyway, that's my comment. Thank you.
Okay, Guy, do you have any?
Sure. In regards to the other options or other sites, I did approach the city originally, and they chose not to host the tower. They were going to be our landowner. They felt that it was probably not the best use of their donated land. It was apparently donated to the city because for specifically a nature preserve or a nature park, so they felt in the end that wasn't probably what they wanted to do. We did talk about the fairgrounds, and I did go back and communicate with AT&T about that. It did two things that were negative to the project. One is that it put it actually close to the airport, and a height issue that the airport has in that location, and it also put us further away from what AT&T was trying to accomplish. As far as other services, the tower would potentially be co-locating other, Verizon, Sprint, whoever needs, whoever's licensed in this area. So there was no detrimental issue to any other carrier. The FCC license frequencies, so they're very strict on their frequency band and what you can use, and each carrier is separated. So there would be no issue with the other carriers.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, it does.
Okay, is there anyone else have comments or questions on this? Yes, come forward, please.
My name is Harley Deering. You probably know I'm the adjacent landowner there. I would like to see exact location where this is being placed on the property. Can you show me that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can see here, obviously you're familiar with the property.
Yes.
So here's your existing building, here's the house. You come in, there was, I think, 3 silos originally.
Yes, it was.
And 2 of them were removed.
Mhm.
And you had a, was it a feeder? I'm not
Yeah.
sure. It's like a
Feed bunk for cattle.
feed bunk, right. So that's been removed, and that is essentially from there to the north, which is the area that we're talking about.
Okay. And that's in the township now?
That is correct.
Okay. Because the road always went through there, and my barn was always in the same...
Right, I think that some of the property to the south is within the city.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so, but this is not, this is in the township of Caledonia.
The only problem I have with this location is that Mr. Becker and I have a 5-year contract for that exact site for my part-time machinery business that I have. And that's signed by a lawyer, and that's If you're gonna put it there, it'll be an issue. I don't know if he told you about that, but, well, we have that. I don't have it with me, but I can sure get it from Tim Murphy.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
So you're running a business on that?
Yes, I am.
On that exact property right now?
On that lot, I have a signed contract for 5 years.
Okay.
I'm paying him $100 a month to use that. He knew that too when he did this.
Okay, how much, is there any chance for you to move over a little bit or make room for that or not? Is
Well,
there-
we can talk about it, but,
Between you guys, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll take note of that, and then, okay.
Okay?
We might ask you back up here in a second.
Okay,
Right
thank
now,
you.
yeah. All right. So you have a comment, sir?
Yeah.
Will you come up here and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Dylan Becker and I'm the landowner. And the part that Harley leases, I actually cleared out a ton of real estate that was there to make the lot that he can use probably 3 times bigger. You know, just because this is gonna cut into just a small corner of where he just parks trailers and stuff. So, do they have drawings?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like if you go from the proposed site towards Highway 76, there used to be an old bunk that came out there and a silo, and just a lot of junk, rock, concrete foundations. I cleaned all that up, so now that whole lot can be used for that, for machinery storage.
Is there a specific amount of land that you've got leased to?
He just, what it says in the lease agreement is that he can just use the half of the cow yard, so.
Okay, Mr. Deering, you think you can work out an agreement to where you can park your
It's gonna
equipment?
take some doing, because the way he told me, this was going on the south side of the bunk, and it's not, it's on the north side of the bunk, where I have about 20 pieces of machinery. I have my tractor stuff stored inside there. I wouldn't be able to get access to it.
Yeah, Grandpa, it doesn't go to your building.
Well, look at it. It shows it right up there.
I know where it's going.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have all the space you need. I mean, you're gonna have so much more space, it's gonna be great. You can drive down in there and turn around now.
I'd have to look more, decide on that. Right now, I'm not seeing what I like there.
Has he been out there to look at the state?
Okay, thank you. Is there any more questions to the members, board members? Okay, thank you. We'll assume that at
We'll
this
work it
point
out.
that you can work it out with your grandpa. All right, is there anyone else that wants to comment on this issue? Do you have any other comments to make, Ed?
I guess no, I think I've reviewed the findings of facts, and I think that from my opinion, we matched in a positive way the findings of facts, so I just ask for your approval.
Okay, Bob, if you want to read the findings and the criteria?
Sure. Planning Commission should not recommend a conditional use permit unless they find the following. 1, does the proposed use conform to the county land use plan? 2, does the applicant demonstrate a need for the proposed use? 3, will the proposed use degrade the water quality of the county? 4, will the proposed use adversely increase the quantity of water runoff? 5, are soil conditions adequate to accommodate the proposed use? 6, does the proposed use create a potential pollution hazard? 7, adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities being provided. 8, are adequate measures being taken to provide sufficient off-street parking and loading space to serve the proposed use. 9, are facilities being provided to eliminate any traffic congestion or traffic hazard which may result from the proposed use. 10, will the conditional use be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for purposes already permitted? 11, does the establishment of the conditional use impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for predominant uses in the area? 12, are adequate measures being taken to prevent and control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, and vibrations so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs and other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result? 13 is not applicable. 14 is the intensity of the proposed commercial development greater than the intensity of the surrounding uses or greater than the intensity characteristic of the applicable zoning district. 15 are site-specific conditions, other conditions established as required for the protection of public health, safety, morals, and general welfare.
Okay, do any of the commission members have a comment on the findings? Questions?
I only have one question. Evidently, you're going to have a access road to this tower?
Yeah, we're going to use the existing driveway that's in place right now.
Okay.
You guys have an easement to do that? To get-
Yes, yes.
I think that the issue with Harley and that should be clarified before we allow this, if you want to allow this on contingency of everyone being satisfied. That's up for discussion here. I don't know how Harley would feel about that, or would.
Yeah, I'm not ready to agree with this yet tonight. No, no way.
I feel more comfortable voting on this once they kind of come to an agreement that they're happy with.
I'd like to look at the maps and talk to Dylan about it. I feel a lot better about it. So far, I have seen nothing. This is the first I've had a chance to see it.
That's too bad. We should have figured that out before.
I think this is a good thing when you get it done. And I think the clarification between where everything is in previous landowner, I think should be.
May I make a comment, or is this, I guess my comment would be, it does seem like it is between, it's a personal matter between a previous landowner and the existing landowner. It should have nothing to do with our lease that's in place and/or issuing a permit for, I guess, my proposed
I agree with
use.
you.
We will work this out, I'll make it right.
I guess I would be willing, I mean, obviously, it's in SBA's interest as well to help whatever we can and however we can with the situation. But I do think it's between those two.
Any other comment? We have two comments here. What do you other guys think?
No, I mean, I think that's a different issue than if it meets the criteria for tower. I mean, that's a different issue. If it's a family issue.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
The tower is one thing, but.
Yeah, but this is a family issue.
Yeah, I understand that.
You have titles to the land right now. You gave Mr. Stewart the lease, right?
Right. That's all it takes.
You know, title work has been done, we verified that he is the owner of the property, the Beckers.
But we have to worry about the adverse effect on other properties by the tower.
And it's in the findings, yeah. One of the statements in here, and it could be argued that it adversely affects Mr. Deering until we get clearance, or until that's one argument. It's unfortunate that that wasn't worked out prior to coming here. This is a public hearing, notices were sent out, what was going on. So it's up to you guys, what you want to do.
You guys will have to reach an agreement or whatever,
Okay.
get it straightened out.
Yeah, what kind of assurances can you give her? Can you provide us with some documentation that this is worked out, or that you have an agreement work out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so, I mean, what if we recommended that?
Mr. Chairman, this will be going to the board in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Can they work out their differences in 2 weeks? And bring it?
Possibly we could recommend it's approved, subject to you working out agreement between, so Mr. Deering is satisfied.
So we come to the board with.
And then you come to the county board, you'd have your agreement in place.
Sounds good.
Okay. That sounds good.
That depends on Mr. Jerry had to be satisfied with the agreement, though.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right, and if you can't work out the agreement, sure, and the county board they can decide to turn it down. You know. But at this point, if you want to, it's up to you guys. If you, if when you want to make a motion with that stipulation in there,
Also move
okay?
with the stipulation that
They get it
Dylan and Harley come to agreement on his leased area for his equipment. I think you guys can battle it out.
Prior to the issuing of the permit.
What's that? What's that?
Prior to the issuing of the permit.
Yeah, but prior to the commissioner meeting, which is
June 3rd.
June 3rd.
Yep. Here, yeah, right here in this room.
So we have a motion made. Do I have a second?
I'm second that.
Okay, second. Okay, is there any discussion on the motion? We have a motion made, seconded to recommend this permit for approval, subject to the agreement worked out between the Beckers and the Deerings. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
But
Now, Bob can tell you what.
Yeah, it's usually 9 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, June 3rd. That's when county board convenes, so it'll be 9 to 10 o'clock. So if you want to come at 9 o'clock, June 3rd. Yeah. Thank you.
If you can work this thing out and get a written agreement, it would be a good thing, I think, to put in the file so everything is tied up very nice and clean. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would you hand down this motion? Hand down the motion.
I don't know why it's just forward in the area.
Okay, under other business, we're going to continue our discussion on the Tracy Erickson mine application. And I just want to point a few things out. Ken, get behind the counter there, get behind that.
All right, I like to hear it.
You cannot be up here, Ken.
How come a reporter? Consider me a
They can be,
reporter.
but you're not. You either get back behind that.
No, I'm not disrupting the meeting here.
You call the sheriff. Okay,
get behind the railing or leave.
Yep. Why?
Because you're told to, that's where the audience
Where's
is.
that written?
okay.
Where's it written?
Call the sheriff.
Where's it written?
That's our rule.
Yeah, we got to be here, move if you don't move here.
County
How
board.
come the reporter can be here? When we video the county board, we sit over
You're
there.
not supposed to be anymore.
Why?
We'll wait.
Why?
You want to hold the meeting up, Ken, we can hold it up.
It was on the county board minutes on Tuesday.
Oh, was it? Did they vote on it? Dan, did they vote on this? You're on the county board, didn't you?
State your question, Mr. Special question.
Dana, tell me,
Well,
does that person be here?
the chairman here is running the meeting, Ken, and he tells you to go back there. I think you would have enough confidence to do it, but otherwise I think we should call the sheriff's department.
Yeah, get them over.
Already
Well, how is it disrupting? I mean, come on.
You're very.
That's the rules. Okay, I'll stand over here. How's this? There you go. Is that okay, Dan? Does that satisfy your ego?
Thank you, Ken.
All
Thank you.
satisfies yours.
Yep. All right, let me read this statement. The ordinance on conditional use permit renewals does not require the planning commission to take public comment. However, at our last meeting, we did provide for public comment. We have those comments recorded, we have them on video. This evening, we'll limit comments to new information only. The planning commission is aware of the EQB's decision yesterday to table the RUG question until they receive more information from the county. Anything that has to do with EQB's decision is not new information, In other words, we're not taking any comments on it. If you wish to speak, raise your hand to be recognized. State your topic and why you consider it to be new information. And again, there will be no personal attacks. Is there anyone here with new information on this renewal? New information? Okay, you come forward, you tell us what your topic is and why you consider it new.
Michelle Erickson. And I would just like to read through a list that I think is important, is noted. The Leonard Tofseman Mine, the Johnson Mine, the Chapel Mine, and the Porteous Olson Mine. These are all the other mines in Houston County that are currently listed in the EIS that we are listed in. All of these mines are permitted and running on the EIS, except for us. We feel we are being discriminated against. You know, last time I was here, we asked you to make this right. And you asked us to trust you.
Is there anyone else here who feels they have new information tonight? Okay, at this point, we're cutting off public comment, and the discussion goes back to where we left off at our last meeting. So, now, board members, go ahead. It's open for discussion among you guys. So if you, now, do you want Mr. Erickson up here in case you have questions? You want to ask him some questions? Or Tracy, do you mind coming up here and giving us an overview of your plans, since the ownership is different from the last time it was renewed? I mean, the last time it was renewed under Thorson's, right? So, I mean, I think it's just fair that you just give us an overview of your plan to run the mine.
Thank you. Just a quick synopsis. This is the original construction permit. I want it to be known that this is not expired. Bob, is that a true statement?
Right.
And there's no disputing that this permit has ever expired.
Okay, what's the operation? What would you like to do there?
I'd like to remove construction sand on the original, the permit that's been in place for 22 years. I'd like to continue to move construction sand on the original permit that has been done for 22 years.
And you do agree to limit that to 10,000 yards?
I do agree to limit to 10,000
Per year.
yards per year.
Okay. Now, are there any other questions? Are there questions? Any questions from the commission members?
With the tabling of the EQB, who is the regulated government unit? Do we still not have, does Houston County not have the authority to do this?
Okay.
Which was the reason that it was
Right.
tabled.
What the planning commission does is make a recommendation. It certainly could be subject to the UPD's rule. And I think at this point, that's a possibility. So,
If I might add something, I'm Mark Merkowitz, I'm the attorney for the Ericksons, and you have a letter from your attorney, Jay Squires, who tells you that, as discussed, the mining of construction sand would be appropriate up to 8,000 to 10,000 cubic yards per year. So you've got advice from your attorney that that's appropriate under the original sand construction permit. So it has nothing to do with EQB or EIS or anything else that's going on. As long as it's limited to that and it becomes construction sand instead of frac sand mining. And that letter is dated March 24th, 2014.
I think, I sent everybody a copy of a letter that I had gotten.
right, that is still open. That could be an issue. It's contentious. Yeah.
It has, our attorney had an opportunity to look at that and then interpret that. That was a judge's rule.
Right.
Yeah.
He sent it to us at the time, so.
Let me
right
hear,
after the
let me hear,
judge-
you said what?
Just to remind the planning commission, there's a 60-day rule, and we're on the second 60 days here. The final deadline to make a decision by the county board is right around June 27th. So if you table it again, you know, we're knocking on the door of that 120-day deadline. And if it goes beyond that, that's automatic approval. So.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Erickson, his attorney? Okay, you guys can. Hey. All right, is there any other discussion? What do you guys want?
We could,
I got a question. The environmental board did not make a decision on this here. And who says they're gonna make a decision in 6 months?
Well, they've got, they gave Minnesota Sands 30 days to submit their scoping document. That scoping document is going to list which mines are actually associated with Minnesota Sand. So EQB wants to see that scoping document, and at the meeting yesterday, a representative from Minnesota Sand said there are no mines in Houston County that will be on that scoping document. Now, that scoping document needs to be submitted to the EQB, but that's the way things are headed at this time. So, and of course, you know, Erickson is not one because he's in Houston County. So,
How come it's taken so long to get that document? I mean, this has been kind of going on for months. How come you think that Minnesota Sand would want to get this done too?
Yeah, you think so? There's been no money put forward for the EIS. There's been, like I said, no scoping document put forward. So those two things have to happen before an EIS can occur. The money has to be put there, you know, to fund it, and then the scoping document is going to tell which areas are being impacted by which mines. So it's, you know, to be honest, Minnesota Sand is dragging their feet. You know, so.
Any other questions?
Well, but when we approve these conditional use permits, or you know, we approve it with the stipulation with all state and government agencies' approval.
right.
So why cannot we approve it here at countywide? They still, it has to meet
Yeah, by all federal, state.
all federal, state, and regulations.
Right.
So we shouldn't be sitting, you know, debating. If we're gonna table it again, we should be acting on it.
That would be my recommendation.
That's my feeling. I think we should act on it and get done with it. There's plenty of other sand mines going on in the county, and it's no different than any other one, as far as I'm concerned.
It can be moved on condition of the being released, you know.
Well, it's still by regulations, Glenn,
Yeah,
just like Charlie said.
Yep.
We just talked about adverse effects between two relatives, basically.
That is in the original conditions. This is on the renewal.
This is renewal.
Any other comments?
I myself did look at the mine, and with Mrs. Iverson, Rosemary Iverson's property cabins, the cabins, I mean, when she bought that property, she had to go through the mine, go by the mine to see that property. So she knew there was a mine there. And as far as the Baker residence, that was built, how many years ago, you said, Bob?
6 or 8, something.
Yeah, I mean, they realized the mine was there. So I don't know, I mean, that shouldn't affect our decision.
The screening that's there for the Iverson property and so forth, I mean, mean, that's kind of required to stay there, that, and you,
50 foot, yep.
yeah. Any other comments, questions on the board?
I think that's it, this thing should be moved on to the county board, one way or the other, and contingent upon being released from the EPB and that stuff, other than all state and federal regulations, which would amount to any judicial, whatever.
I have a question. You know, with being released by the environmental board, when do we know? I mean, they might wait a year yet. Are we gonna make Mr. Erickson, wait that long?
I won't.
I don't think.
Well, I mean, but I don't know if we need that in the motion. That's the reason I'm asking that question.
Yeah, I think you need it there. Until it's released, the county can't act, I don't think, in my opinion. Because we would not be
That's
there.
the county's responsibility. They should be getting this mess cleaned up.
If you want to put it in the form of a motion, anyone, do it. Either way, it's up to you guys.
Can you repeat your statement? You said that.
I said that as long as the EQB considers themselves the RGU.
But they aren't. They didn't tell you they were considered.
It's up in the air.
It's up in
It's
the
up
air.
in the air. They're not saying they are.
There's no scoping.
So that's the reason why. Why do we gotta wait for it?
It's not a factor.
It's not a factor at all.
There's no scoping document that says they are. They can't be released from something that they're not part of.
How does the board vote when it comes to it?
Pardon?
How does the board vote when it comes to it? And if you send it to the board?
How does the board?
You just said if we're not the
vote
RGU,
you
we
want.
can't vote, we can't pass.
Well, but they're saying they don't agree that we're not.
I'm just trying to get clarification.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but the environmental board isn't saying one way or the other if they got the power to approve it or not.
Well, if you state,
they did.
if you state state and local laws, that's going to cover it.
Right, that's gonna cover it.
Yeah.
They said they were still.
Yeah, we're not taking comments.
Well, I'm giving it.
Well, you're going to have to
Well,
leave
you're
if
gonna
you
be
are.
removed pretty quick.
You're letting him believe a lie.
Hey, Sheriff Deputy, would you ask Ms. Buckby to step out?
We're ready for him.
You're asking him to believe a lie. You are not the RGU. And that was decided yesterday,
Move on.
and you're basing your decision on ignorance.
Fine. I'll make a motion to grant the condition, or extend the use permit for the commercial sand
Based on what you want the
on the state and federal regulations.
judicial orders, you want to do
No.
Okay.
I second motion.
What is the exact motion?
To renew the commercial sand mine based on federal, state, and local rules and regulations.
No, with the stipulation of the condition, the 10,000 tons annually be added. That condition.
The 10,000 yards.
10,000 yards per year be added, a new
Right.
condition.
Does that go, are you talking about 5 years?
5-year
Five-year
extension.
extension.
Right.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to recommend this approval. You want to read that? You want to read that one, Chief?
to renew the commercial sand mine based on federal, state, and local rules and regulations, and that the 10,000 yard per year limit be added as a new condition to the permit.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
No.
Okay, we have 2 against. We have 5. The motion carries.
That'll go to county board June 3rd.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other business?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, anyone else? Second?
I'll second that.
Motion made, second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I always make the motion.